Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes why China and Australia are reconciling. Sort of. Texas Longhorns schedule, TV, streaming, odds and how to watch versus Kansas State. Notre Dame versus Clemson, predictions, odds and how to watch game Saturday. Ancient statue among discovery in new ruins unearthed at Chella, Morocco. Jasmine Akey's hat trick caps number 3 Stanford's undefeated regular season with victory versus Cal. Why China and Australia are reconciling. Sort of. New York Times. Australia's Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is visiting Beijing for a 3-day meeting with China's President, Xi Jinping, as a small step towards economic and diplomatic stability after years of tension between the two countries. Although the two countries are seeking to stabilize their relationship, there is still anxiety and security concerns. However, since the new Australian government came into power, there has been a recalibrated pitch for improving relations from China's ambassador to Australia. As a result, China has agreed to review or remove the tariffs and trade bans that cost several Australian industries billions of dollars. The products on the way back to China include coal, barley and timber, with wine and lobster exports potentially resuming in a few months. However, tensions remain and the recent survey found that 75% of Australians see China becoming a military threat to Australia in the next 20 years. Texas Longhorns schedule, TV, streaming, odds and how to watch versus Kansas State. Yahoo! The Texas Longhorns, 7-1, are hosting the Kansas State Wildcats, 6-2, in a highly anticipated Week 10 matchup in Austin. The Longhorns are currently tied with the Sooners for the top spot in the Big 12 standings, and this game is a must-win for their hopes of making it to the college football playoffs. With starting quarterback Quinn Ewers injured, backup Malik Murphy is expected to start, with Archie Manning as his backup if needed. The Longhorns are favored to win. The game kicks off at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Notre Dame versus Clemson, predictions, odds and how to watch game Saturday. Yahoo! The number 12 Notre Dame Fighting Irish are headed to Death Valley to take on the Clemson Tigers in Week 10 of the college football season. The Tigers suffered their second straight loss, 24-17, this time to NC State. Notre Dame continued to rise up the USLBM coaches poll after a dominant Week 9 victory, 58-7, over the Pitt Panthers at home. Ancient statue among discovery in new ruins unearthed at Chella, Morocco. ABC. Archaeologists in Morocco have discovered the ruins of an ancient port city, complete with thermal baths and working-class neighborhoods. The site, located near the capital Rabat, is believed to have been a key Roman outpost from the 2nd to 5th century and offers insights into the lives of Roman settlers and Romanist Moroccans. The discovery includes a 2,000 square meter Roman-era bath and bricks inscribed in a language predating the arrival of the Romans. The Moroccan government plans to invest €455,000 in the excavation project this year, with further funding in subsequent years. Jasmine Akey's hat trick caps number 3 Stanford's undefeated regular season with victory versus Cal. Yahoo! Stanford women's soccer team, ranked number 3, won a game against California with a score of 4-0. The team finished their regular season with a record of 15-0-4 and 8-0-3 in Pac-12 play. Jasmine Akey scored a hat trick in the game, while Maya Doms scored her 8th goal of the season. Her daughter was killed in the Robb Elementary shooting. Now she's running for mayor of Uvalde. Associated Press. Kimberly Monterrubio, whose daughter Lexi was killed in the 2022 Robb Elementary School shooting, is running for mayor of Uvalde, Texas. The town has still not recovered from the tragedy, which left 19 students and 2 teachers dead. Monterrubio, who would become Uvalde's first female mayor, has made healing and change her campaign message, promising to give residents a seat at the table regardless of their background or income. However, the election is a test of whether the town is ready to move forward and try to put the tragedy in the past. Monterrubio has already put herself on the ballot in the open race against 2 other candidates, a former Uvalde mayor and a local teacher. The Uvalde school shooting was one of America's deadliest mass shootings, and the botched response to the event is still under investigation. Israel-Gaza war fuels online anti-Semitism, Islamophobia in China. Al Jazeera. Chinese social media has been flooded with anti-Semitic and Islamophobic comments following the recent Israel-Gaza conflict. Hate speech has been prevalent, with one comment stating, "Palestine has no civilians. It only has little terrorists, old terrorists, female and male terrorists, who should all be wiped out." Another called for the killing of Arabs to end terrorism. Anti-Semitic comments were more common, with one user writing, "It is really the fault of Little Mustache, Hitler, if he had burned all of them, Jews, we wouldn't have this much trouble. The Chinese government has been criticized for not enforcing laws that prohibit the dissemination of extremist information on the internet. The Chinese leadership has called for an immediate ceasefire and for the realization of peaceful coexistence between Palestine and Israel. However, a professor at the Middle East Studies Institute of Shanghai International Studies University suggested that the majority of Chinese people do not understand the background of the conflict and its long history. Connor Stallions out at Michigan amid sign-stealing investigation. Washington Post. Connor Stallions, a recruiting analyst for the University of Michigan's football program, has resigned amidst an investigation into allegations of sign stealing. Stallions was suspended with pay on October 20, and since then, multiple reports have detailed an elaborate operation that Stallions is suspected of overseeing, including purchasing tickets to Big Ten road games to scout opponents, and possibly posing as a member of Central Michigan's staff during a game against Michigan State. Sign stealing is a common practice in college sports, but Stallions' methods were against the rules. Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh has maintained that he did not know about the sign stealing system. Boulder campaign finance. Yahoo! Eldora Ski Resort in Colorado, U.S., opened 2 weeks ahead of schedule after 15 inches of snow fell on October 29. The mountain's opening day attracted skiers and snowboarders eager to make the first tracks in the fresh powder. The resort used its artificial snowmaking capabilities to create the extra run. Guests were entertained with music from a DJ and given muffins before the slopes opened at 9 a.m. local time. Cooper Cousins and Blaze Myers discuss McDowell's win in D10 Class 6A football final. Yahoo! McDowell High School's football team, led by lineman Cooper Cousins and quarterback Blaze Myers, recently won the District 10's Class 6A football final. Cousins, who is committed to play for Penn State University, expressed his excitement about the win and discussed the team's strategy. Myers, the team's quarterback, also shared his thoughts on their victory. Zalk's third field goal lifts Dartmouth over Princeton 23-21. Associated Press. Dartmouth defeated Princeton 23-21 in a close Ivy League matchup. Owen Zalk kicked a go-ahead field goal, while Jordan Washington broke up a fourth-down pass to secure the win for Dartmouth. Dartmouth took an early 10-0 lead in the first quarter, but Princeton came back to lead 14-10 at halftime. The game remained close throughout, with both teams exchanging touchdowns. Dartmouth's offense struggled, managing only 199 yards, while Princeton had 356 yards. The win marked the 100th anniversary of the first game ever played at Memorial Field. Princeton coach Bob Suris has not won at Memorial Field since taking over in 2009. Free at last, an English teacher who fled the Taliban. BBC. Shams Irfan, an Afghan refugee who fled the Taliban as a teenager, has finally been granted permanent residency in Canada after 8 years in detention camps in Indonesia. Irfan's journey began in 2014 when he fled Afghanistan after Taliban gunmen targeted him for being an English teacher. He escaped to Delhi and then Kuala Lumpur before taking a boat to Indonesia. He spent years in prison camps for asylum seekers, where he wrote a blog about the living conditions of refugees. Irfan's blog caught the attention of Renee Edershagen from Canada, who helped him find sponsors and submit an application for permanent residency. Irfan's application was accepted, and he flew to Canada in March 2022. Irfan's story is one of survival and determination. After escaping the Taliban, he faced years of uncertainty and confinement in Indonesia. But with the help of supporters like Edershagen and her friends, Irfan was able to secure permanent residency in Canada. Now, he is studying at the University of Toronto and plans to become a human rights and immigration lawyer. Irfan's journey is a testament to the power of community and the resilience of refugees who are seeking a better life. Irfan's story is also a reminder of the millions of refugees worldwide who are stuck in limbo, with little hope of starting a new life. Irfan's journey was not easy, and he faced many obstacles along the way. However, his determination and the support of his sponsors allowed him to finally find freedom and a chance at a better future. Irfan's story serves as a reminder of the importance of compassion and advocacy for refugees who are seeking safety and a place to call home. Rude awakening, elections seen as rebuke to Colombia's Gustavo Petro. Al Jazeera. Colombian President Gustavo Petro is struggling to implement his ambitious reform agenda and maintain support, just 14 months after his election. Petro's administration has been hit by a campaign finance scandal and his reform proposals have stalled in Congress. In Colombia's local and regional elections, Petro's coalition Pacto Histórico won governorships in only 2 of the country's 32 departments. Petro has tried to claim the results as a win, arguing that many of the winning candidates were part of the coalition that helped him to power. However, political analysts believe Petro's personality-driven movement is suffering because he has not built a strong party. Petro's ally Gustavo Bolívar, who ran for mayor of Bogotá, came third, trailing an independent candidate and a contender from the New Liberalism Party. Bolívar said voters were disappointed with Petro's lack of results and that the president needed more time to effect change. Petro's popularity has fallen from 60% to 32%, according to a recent poll. Hong Kong's Cathay tackles staff shortages, poor morale as it chases rivals. South China Morning Post. Cathay Pacific Airways is aiming to regain its position as a premier airline by improving its products and customer experience. The Hong Kong carrier has faced significant challenges in recent years, including the social unrest in 2019 and the COVID-19 pandemic. Cathay's Chief Customer and Commercial Officer, Lavinia Lau Hoi-zi, has outlined the airline's strategy for recovery, which includes enhancing its business and first-class offerings, in-flight entertainment, and food. The carrier is also focusing on hiring new staff and improving morale among existing employees. Cathay aims to reach 70% of its pre-pandemic flight capacity by the end of this year and fully restore levels by the end of 2024. The company has added 4 new destinations to its winter schedule and plans to recruit around 4,000 people from the mainland of China by 2025. Cathay also aims to extend its home market beyond Hong Kong to the Greater Bay Area, which includes Hong Kong, Macau, and 9 cities in Guangdong Province. Analysts have said that Cathay has the potential to regain its former glory but will need to address staff shortages and low morale. The carrier faces competition from both international airlines and airlines operating out of neighboring airports in mainland China, which offer more direct flights at lower prices. Cathay will need to invest in its services and make its airfares competitive to retain loyal customers and attract new ones. Cathay has reported a net profit of 4.26 billion Hong Kong dollars, $547 million, for the first half of 2023, thanks to a surge in travel following the lifting of restrictions in Hong Kong. The carrier aims to meet the terms of a government-backed recapitalization package by buying back 19.5 billion Hong Kong dollars in preference shares by the end of July 2024. 2024 NFL Draft, top QBs to watch for Week 10 of college football. Yahoo! As the college football season continues, many draft-eligible quarterbacks are entering the more challenging parts of their schedules. This weekend, several games will provide an opportunity for these quarterbacks to shine. One such game is the matchup between Notre Dame and Clemson. Clemson's defense is ranked 6th in the country in terms of yards allowed per game and 9th in passing yards allowed. Notre Dame quarterback Sam Hartman has consistently been among the top 20 quarterbacks in the country in terms of passer rating and yards per attempt. Another game to watch is the clash between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma quarterback Dylan Gabriel is a dangerous player who can both run and throw. He has completed over 70% of his passes and is 9th in quarterback passer rating. Maryland quarterback Talia Tagovailoa will also be facing a tough test against Penn State. Maryland has lost 3 games in a row, and Tagovailoa will need to be at his best to compete with a Penn State defense that ranks 2nd in the country in total yards allowed. Well, folks, that's all the news we have for today. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned. First, we discussed the reconciliation between China and Australia. While there are still tensions and security concerns, there have been positive steps towards improving relations, including the review and removal of tariffs and trade bans. However, a recent survey found that many Australians still see China as a military threat. Moving on, we talked about some college football matchups. The Texas Longhorns are facing off against the Kansas State Wildcats in a crucial game for their playoff hopes. Notre Dame is taking on Clemson, and the number 12 Fighting Irish are looking to continue their rise in the rankings. In other news, archaeologists in Morocco have discovered the ruins of an ancient port city, giving us insights into Roman settlers and Romanist Moroccans. Stanford's women's soccer team finished their regular season undefeated, and a mother who lost her daughter in a tragic school shooting is running for mayor in Uvalde, Texas. We also touched on the rise of anti-Semitic and Islamophobic comments on Chinese social media following the Israel-Gaza conflict. The Chinese government has been criticized for not enforcing laws against extremist information online. In the world of sports, a recruiting analyst for the University of Michigan's football program has resigned amidst an investigation into sign stealing. And in lighter news, Eldora Ski Resort in Colorado opened early thanks to 15 inches of snowfall, and McDowell High School's football team won their district final. We also shared the story of Shams Irfan, an Afghan refugee who has finally been granted permanent residency in Canada after years in detention camps in Indonesia. Irfan's journey is one of survival and determination, and he is now studying at the University of Toronto. Lastly, we discussed the latest developments in Colombian politics, Cathay Pacific's efforts to regain its position as a premier airline, and upcoming games to watch in college football for those interested in the NFL draft. Well, folks, that's a wrap for today's news. I hope you enjoyed our whirlwind tour of the headlines. Remember, these stories are just the tip of the iceberg, and there's always more to explore and discuss. So, what are your thoughts on these topics? Do you have any burning questions or intriguing insights? Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.